I'm Matt with etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Fas-top tonneau cover on our 2024 Jeep Gladiator. Now this is going to be a great option if you're looking for something that's going to be quick and easy to use and is going to be able to evolve with you over the years. So let's check it out. And the reason why I say that is because you can actually add a topper or a ladder rack or both of them later on down the road. So it really can change and grow with you as you grow. Now another thing I do like about it is you can just keep using it as the tonneau cover. Now this is going to be a soft roll-up style. And what's nice about a soft roll-up style is, I'll show you here in a second, that it's going to take up a lot less space. And they're very easy to work and not very heavy. So when I push on these two levers inside of here, push up on here, we can roll that up. And we compare this to a folding style. Typically, if you have one that just stays in your bed, it's going to take up this much space. And if I keep rolling, another type of folding type you'll see out there is one that folds up against your back window. In our case today, we're not going to be blocking that back window at all. And it's also going to sit right beneath your seats as well. And then on the flip side, if you had a canister style is going to take up the inner of your bed. This, we're not really sacrificing anything at all. Now something I do want to point out is that you can get this for a lot of different vehicles, so just make sure you're using our fit guide to find the right one for you, and that you're also saying if you have trail rails or not. In our case today, we do have them, but they will work for either one. Now, let's get a couple measurements. The first one I'm going to get is going to be how much space it is taking up in our bed, because it will just be a little bit. That's going to be a little bit over 3 inches. So that's really not too much room at all. But if you ever do need that extra amount of space, all you have to do is take off 2 bolts, one in each side underneath here. Doesn't take very long, and you can remove this. So you can get that full length of your bed, since this is going to be a shorter bed. Now, for the amount of space the rails are going to take up, that's going to be around 1.5 inches. Again, not very much space. If you ever do need to remove them, it is just going to be a few bolts on either side. And what's nice about this is not going to be a permanent installation, and that's something I really do appreciate with this type of tonneau cover. Now when we unfold this, we can get more of an idea of if you are wanting to put anything in here, how high can you stack those items? So from right here, this is going to be roughly around 18 inches. So if you have anything below 18 inches, they'll fit back here just fine. And for the total height that they sit up on your bed rails, that's going to be about also 1.5 inches. So that gives you an idea of how it's going to look back here. Now we are going to have this kind of transition. So to me, that makes it look a little bit nicer on the back of our truck. And since we're right here, I do want to talk about this lever here. So this is going to be what secures it down. You can tighten and loosen this to adjust the fitment of how tight that tonneau cover is itself. The reason why that's important to note is because with most soft roll-ups out there, with time they typically do kind of loosen up on you. So have that ability to re-tighten it down, secure it into place is a big deal. Now there are going to be measures to make sure this does last longer. So when I unroll that just a little bit, you're going to notice we do have this beam that goes across. What that beam's doing is helping keep this nice and tight. So if there's any water building up on the very top of it, it's going to help it run off and go somewhere else other than your bed. And speaking of the elements a little bit, we can talk about how well of a job this does keeping water out of here. Now I will say, we've tested this one before on some other Jeeps, and this does a really good job for the most part. Now with any type of soft tonneau cover, or really any tonneau cover out there, there's always going to be a little bit of water getting in. That's typically going to be on any of these corners, either on the tailgate or the bulkhead side, but a majority of your stuff will stay completely dry. Now, if you're curious about how to get this installed, we do talk about that, and we do give some tips and tricks to make it a little bit easier for you. But if you do decide to go with this, let us know how it's working for you in either comment or review. But with that said, let's jump to the install. All right, so to begin the installation, we're going to put on our rails. I already have it done on one side. So to do that process, you're going to find the correct one for the right side. couple of things to think about with that is we're going to have the hook and loop section. We want that facing the outside of our vehicle. And then this latch right here with that trigger, that should be on this orientation. Now, once we have it like this, we're just going to push it back until we find we have some resistance with the bulkhead side of our Jeep. And you can keep pushing this. You want to be careful because we're going to have this section over here that we don't want to go past. It should look something like this. And once it does, then we can grab some of our hardware. So the hardware we're going to have in hand is going to be a carriage bolt. It's going to be this square washer that they slide right into. And then you're going to come over to your trailer rails, slide this into place, and we're going to have 3 per side. So this one, we're just going to roughly put next to our tailgate. And at some point, we are going to need this flat washer and split washer, but I'll hold off on that for now. Then we're going to grab our 2 other ones, put one in the center, and then one close to the bulkhead. All right, so we're going to go up to this channel that's actually on the rails of your tonneau cover. You're going to find that we have a bunch of these square nuts in here. What I want to do is have one nearest to our bulkhead, and this is going to be location 1. You'll find that in your instructions. Location 2, we'll roughly put right about here. Now for location 2, I recommend leaving these 2 square nuts in here, kind of where this line is, just for the time being, and putting another nut at location 2, just like that. And then push the last 2, one to line up with location 3, and one in front of it. And I already have these marked out on my rails, but you are going to have specific measurements where all these sit. So I'd recommend finding that out in your instructions. And then we're going to line up that carriage bolt with that square nut on all 3 locations. Now we can grab these brackets, and each one of these are going to have a number label on it, so they go in specific locations. So this one right here, you're going to see a couple letters, but then you're going to see the number 3 on here, so that's going to be going to location 3. Same thing for 2 and 1. Now I'm going to start with number 3. I'm going to take it over here, and we're going to line up that smaller hole with that carriage bolt right there. Put in this orientation. Once it's lined up, I'm going to grab a washer and a bolt. Make sure it's properly lined up and loosely secure this down. Once it's loosely on there, should be able to kind of pivot it some still. We're going to grab a nut and throw it on the bottom section here. Again, we should have a split washer and a regular washer in place. So let me throw those on, and then we'll be able to secure that down. There you go. All right, so we're going to do the same thing for location 2. As for location 1, we aren't going to be doing this yet. We're actually going to install or loosely install the tonneau cover. The reason why we're going to do that is because it's just going to make that process a little bit easier, and I'll show you what I mean here in a few seconds. Now the process with that tonneau cover is just going to be grabbing it itself, and you're going to have this header bar here. It's going to be that middle bar. You're going to notice it's going to have some holes on it. Those holes should be closest to your tailgate side, and these buckles should wrap around like that. Now when I lay this down, it'll be a little bit easier to see what I mean. I'm just going to try to center that as much as possible. Adjust that just by pushing it over. It should fall into place. And once it's loosely in here, we're going to pull it forward until it goes into that bracket on either side. And now I'm going to go underneath there and secure it down with some of these flange bolts that I have right here. And with these flange bolts, they can be a little bit tricky sometimes. And that's why I don't recommend putting this clamp on quite yet. I did this on the passenger side. It's going to be easier when I go to the driver's side, because if we leave it loose, it'll let me actually adjust this header bar a little bit more up top, so it's easier to line up my hole. There you go. Sometimes you might just have to slide it left and right or forward until it starts threading. I'm not going to use the tool with it quite yet. I'm actually going to repeat this on the other side first. Now, if this rail is moving a little bit too much for you, you can just come by and tighten it all the way down. You're just going to grab a socket and wrench, the size that it recommends in the instructions. I recommend tighten down that bottom bolt first, and then go up top, tighten that one too. This should help keep it secure. You can just do one, you can do them both if you want to, and then we can go underneath our tonneau cover and tighten that one down as well. And now we can come back through to that clamp one if you didn't already install it, and install this one just like how we did with the other ones from earlier. And now we're just going to test how it feels, if it actually latches properly. So we'll just come at the very end of here, get everything lined up, and press down. You should hear a click. You can come by and test out the fabric too, so make sure it feels tight enough. But we also want to make sure it unlatches properly too, so do that as well. Either side. And there you go, it works just fine. Now if you're having some issues at this section, what we can do is come over to the hardware. You're going to have one in the front, one in the back. You can loosen or tighten those down, so you can either push it back further or bring it closer to us depending on the fit that you have. Just make sure you do that on both sides, and then test it out again. But that'll pretty much do it. Now if you guys have any other questions, let us know here at eTrailer. And again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.